Well, millions of potentially lethal doses of fentanyl are off California streets after a major drug bust in Arcadia. California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced yesterday authorities seized 8.5 million doses with a street value of over $1 million. One person was also arrested in connection with that bust, accused of transporting the drugs from Mexico.
Attorney General Rob Bonta joins us in studio this morning to discuss this bust and a number of other issues affecting Californians. Good morning, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for being with us.
All right, well, let's start with that fentanyl bust. Big news yesterday. You said the suspect is believed to have brought the drugs over from Mexico, but you said yesterday that this fight against fentanyl is about more than just one criminal. Can you talk about the larger effort to stop drug traffickers?
Absolutely. We're in the middle of a fentanyl epidemic, a fentanyl crisis. We have far too much fentanyl in our communities, affecting our families, our children, putting us at risk, and we need to confront it and use all the tools in the toolbox. One of those is really aggressive enforcement, and I have teams that have been set up all across the state to investigate fentanyl, interdict fentanyl, and arrest those involved in fentanyl trafficking and hold them accountable. But we're basically seeing fentanyl coming across our border and up through the major arteries in our state, the I-5 and 99, and then getting into our communities. And so we do a lot of our work at the border, making sure that we stop the flow of fentanyl upstream. And I've had teams in place for the last 3.5 years which have interdicted and seized 1.6 billion lethal doses of fentanyl. That's enough to kill every Californian, just for a sense of scale, 40 times over. The best we made yesterday was 8.5 million lethal doses, which is more than the number of people in San Diego and Orange County combined. So fentanyl is cheap, it is potent, and it is lethal. And it is something that we cannot accept, and we're not tolerating it. We're cracking down on fentanyl in many ways, on many days, and yesterday was another example.
Yeah, definitely a major bust. All right, we want to move on to one of the latest battles with the Trump administration, with the administration saying they will withhold $1 billion in Medicaid payments to California. They say that this is to fight fraud. One of the things they cite is a growth in our state's home care program cases as opposed to other states. Are you seeing evidence of fraud? And if not, then how do you explain that growth in the home care cases?
We're definitely seeing fraud broadly,
Okay.
In terms of in this state, in other states, wherever there's a lot of money moving from federal programs, there are those bad actors who will try to take advantage of it and seek ill-gotten gains. And we've been tackling fraud in my office since 1978 for almost 50 years. All 5 years I've been in the AG's office, we recently announced one of the biggest hospice fraud busts, or the biggest hospice fraud bust in the history of California, $267 million. And so this letter that we got from the federal government that's seeking to defer $1.1 billion, all they saw was a increase in spending on in-home support services. And there's a lot of very legitimate reasons for that increased spending, like it's a way to provide dignity to seniors and those who are disabled so they can live independently in their homes instead of being in an institution like a nursing home. And for them to immediately conclude that it is fraud without doing further investigation, I think is inappropriate. They've been weaponizing fraud, they've been politicizing fraud. We've been tackling fraud for many years. They asked us for information at the state level to kind of explain this situation, and we provided them with the information. They said that they would take a certain amount of time to review it, but they jumped the gun and decided to have a press conference with J.D. Vance and announced the deferral. So we invite them to work with us in good faith, and if they're sincere about it, but unfortunately there's been indications that they just want to politicize fraud instead of really tackling it and really working with us to serve our vulnerable communities.
Well, on that note, let's talk about politics, shall we? Of course, the June primary is just weeks away, and it comes at a time where President Trump is moving to restrict mail-in ballots, something you are taking action against. You're encouraging people to vote early and warning California not to tolerate any election interference. Do you have reason to believe that could happen?
We're worried about it. We have to be. We can't be naive. We have eyes. We see what's happening around the country. We've seen Trump's unlawful executive orders trying to add new restrictions and seemingly try to suppress the vote and disenfranchise Americans. He tried to provide new citizenship proof of citizenship requirements. He tried to issue an order that said that vote-by-mail ballots that were cast timely but arrived after Election Day didn't count. And then he recently issued an executive order trying to weaponize the U.S. Postal Service to interdict and stop vote-by-mail ballots from moving if they didn't square with a citizenship list that he prepared. He's also seized ballots in Fulton County, Georgia. They sent observers to our election sites here in California for Prop 50. So yeah, we're worried about interference, and we're sort of table-topping and gaming out all the different scenarios. Will there be military near polls? Will there be ICE near polls? Will there be interference with vote-by-mail? All the different scenarios. And will they seize ballots? And if they do, what will we do in response? We have a plan for all that. And so what we owe the people of California is readiness and preparedness. We're ready and we're prepared.
Definitely reassuring to voters as they're about to head to the polls. We want to talk about the FIFA World Cup, which is kicking off in just a few weeks.
I want to talk about that too.
I know, it's supposed to be super exciting, right? But there's a scandal with tickets, with some reports that people bought specific seats and then the seating chart was changed. Could this possibly violate California law?
It could. It could. So businesses have to be truthful, and they can't be misleading. They can't be deceptive or fraudulent in their practices. And so what we are seeing is early indication that FIFA was providing these seating categories to purchasers of tickets when they were buying the tickets, and then they changed, and the seating categories were they connected to a seating map, or stadium map, excuse me, and then those seating categories were changed by the time the individual got their actual ticket. So they purchased with a seating category and a part of the stadium in mind, and then when they got their ticket, it was in a different place. So that could be misleading, that could be fraudulent. We've asked FIFA to provide us more information. We have flags in the air, we're concerned. We haven't made any conclusions yet, so we're doing additional investigation and follow-up. We look forward to hearing from them, and then we'll make a decision to see if they have violated California law. We want to protect consumers. Look, this only happens once every 4 years. It hasn't happened in the United States in decades. It's a special moment. This is the world's game. People pull together a lot of their funds to buy a ticket, and they want to get the seat that they got.
Absolutely.
And so we want them to get the seat that they purchased as well.
You think it can be resolved before we get there?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, I'm hopeful.
All right. Very reassuring. Attorney General Rob Bonta, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.